What's up, rock stars, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Small Block P-Rock, and this is P-Rock's Garage. Today on the channel, we got a couple of different things that is going to be happening. Try to take care as much as I can. You know, I like to set the bar as high as I can and only get a couple of things accomplished. But as long as we're moving that mark forward, that's all that matters. So I kind of got my table set up with some of the things that needs to happen today. I'm confident that I can do about half of it. The other half, I've been having a hard time trying to figure out where I want to mount some things. So, but I'll go ahead and show you guys what's going on. So, we have the new fuel pressure regulator here, ready to go. We got that nice little Holley regulator. I have all my new fittings along with some of the old ones that I'm reusing. They all already have the Teflon tape and they're ready to rock as far as that goes. I got my new spark plug wires. I got the MSD Street Fire. These are the 8mm wires. So I still have to, you know, run them and fashion them up to the right length and do all that. So it's my goal to have the wires replaced and put on, have the fuel line ran to the new regulator and set up appropriately. That's enough rambling about this stuff. Let's go ahead and get this new regulator mounted and get these fittings put in, and let's get ready to rock. I'm gonna set up the GoPro and I'm gonna go ahead and get rocking on getting this fuel line set up and get it ran for the regulator. So on these lines, there's a lot of people on different forums like thirdgen.org and other things like that, and just things that I see on the internet, people asking questions about which line is the supply line and which line is the return line. So what you got to understand is the reason why I'm running this type of regulator with the bypass or the return, it's the same thing, with returns to the tank, is because I switched from the TBI that was on the car, the setup, computer, all that stuff, to a carburetor system. The carburetor only needs to run anywhere between 5 to 9 pounds of pressure. Probably gonna run about 6 pounds of pressure as long as the carburetor likes it on this. So because of the fuel pump that I'm using, I have to reduce the fuel pressure going into the carburetor. So that extra fuel that's not used into the carburetor is actually going back to the tank. So the way you know which one is which is that your supply line or your supply side is always bigger. And actually, we're waiting on some parts and they just got here. We just got new parts. We just got new parts. We just got new parts. That was perfect timing. Look, if you look here, right, and you see the difference in the hoses, right? So the supply line is going to be this one right here, and this one right here is going to be the return line. You see it's significantly smaller. That's going to be your return. This is going to be your supply. All right. And get these fittings on the regulator on the feed side and the return side. And that's how we're going to do this to start to get it going. So it'll look like this. Once you get it looking good, come over here and grab my 19mm. Make sure I get me a nice snug fit right there, like that right there, and get you a nice snug fit, and then you just go ahead and, you know, tighten her on down. But anyway, so we're getting this fitting on, one fitting at a time. No fittings left behind. Do you guys realize that we're almost back to where we were before the fire happened? It's a good feeling. Feel like we're moving in the right direction. I like the way that looks. I really do. All right, so now time for the supply sides. So this comes up from the tank, passes through, goes into the carb side. And what does it make the cutoff for the pressure side, or for the regulated amount? It goes back down the return to the fuel tank. Next thing being next would be to go ahead and start mating and running my spark plug wires. What's up, Rockstars? So we're back. Jumped out of the time-lapse video for my last spark plug wire. Again, these are the MSD 8 millimeter street fire wire. So I ordered these off of Summit. So this is my last wire, and it's really long. So I'm just going to show you guys my process for fashioning my wire to length. Like I said, I want to show you guys exactly what I've been doing. And is this the politically correct way to do it? Absolutely not. Will it work? Of course it will. So now that I've cut the wire to length, all right, I got this really cool tool. I've got the wire ran through this little slotted hole, and I'm going to cut with my knife right there at the base of that line. So now I have it cut, I'm just pulling, and now that wire is exposed, as you guys see. So what I've been doing is I've been taking a little the hit of the WD-40. I've been hitting the inside of the boot, just a little bit, letting this sit to the side, and then I take the wire and then I lightly coat the end of the wire. See if I can do it without spraying it all over the place. There we go. So yeah, I lightly coat the end of the wire, take it and kind of like smooth it around. And then take the I take the wire, slip it inside, take the wire and slip it inside the boot, and then you push. So if you notice, the boot itself is literally a 90-degree turn inside here. So what I have been doing is taking the boot in one hand and kind of turning it like this, so it's not so much at a sharp angle, and then push. And then so when you do that, it pushes all the way through, and then you just push the boot all the way down like that. The wire, you're gonna bend it back against itself, but you don't wanna like do it flat where it's like super tight like that. From what the instructions say on the manual, you wanna give it a little gap space against itself. And of course, now that I'm showing you guys, I'm having a hard time doing it. But you give it a little gap like that. I mean, it's still gonna be relatively connected to itself. I mean, it ain't gonna be like just hanging loose or nothing, but you're supposed to give it a little space. Now we're just gonna take our channel locks and kind of crimp this down on top of the wire to where it holds it. Well, I've been doing it to where it kind of holds it so I don't have to worry about like losing my grip. It kind of is hugging the wire itself. And then I come and force it down on there and give it a good bite. Give it a nice strong little bite there. Is we're gonna take this little WD-40. You're gonna get a light little squirt around the base of the boot to the inside. And now we're just gonna very easily pull. And as I'm pulling, I'm rotating it in position as it's going down. All right. And then once I get it pretty much down like that, what I've been doing is taking my screwdriver and I'd rather push it from the head than pull it because I don't want to like pull anything out of place. And then I just push it down inside the boot. And there you have it, 8 spark plug wires. And then whatever oil's left in there from the day before, you just kind of like tap out on your rag. All right, and that's 8 spark plug wires, fashioned to length, ready to rock. What's up, rock stars? So we are back. It is a new day, actually the next day in the beautiful sunshine state of Florida. We're back in the garage. And so we're going to wrap up a couple of things from yesterday. And the plan is to go ahead and stage everything in the best way that we can for the anticipation of being able to get some combustion in these cylinders, hopefully next weekend. So there's a couple of things that I need to do, and essentially everything should work. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of put things in their final resting place for where they should be today, so that I don't have to worry about going back and doing some things over. And then that's gonna wrap up where we are for this weekend in P-Rock's garage. I'm trying to get as much done as possible so that in the next video, if everything goes our way, we'll be able to crank this bad girl up. So just to kind of go over what we were able to get done yesterday, we got the new fuel pressure regulator installed, mounted, and we had the fuel lines ran to it. Again, just to kind of go over it, this is the feed line from the tank, goes through the regulator. This goes, it feeds from the regulator, and this goes to the carb right over there. And right down on the bottom is the bypass, or the AKA return line, where the fuel that does not meet the regulated pressure returns back to the tank, so that we don't do what we did last time and flood the carburetor with fuel because I had the wrong pressure regulator. So a few weeks ago, I kind of already started making up some of the loom and like getting some things together. Now mind you, I got these wires right here. They're just kind of like draped like where they're supposed to go. I will have heat shields and all that stuff for those wires when we get them all set up and ready to go. So what we're going to do today is get the rest of this wire, made it inside of the loom. We're going to get the rest of this taped up and made it inside of the loom. And we're just going to go ahead and get all that looking nicely. I have the gauges that I'm running for right now. They are powered. One thing that I do have to come up kind of with an idea for is I want to come up with an idea for how I want to, or where I want to use my placement for my tachometer. Like I grew up with like the real big ones on the dash, you know, like the really huge, look at this headliner, it's terrible. I'm used to like the really big ones on the dash, but I've got this third hole right here in this pillar. And I'm thinking that maybe I could just do like the 52 millimeter RPM gauge with like the little light on it. I mean, you guys let me know what you think. I don't think I really need like a big flashlight of a shift light in front of my face to see it. I don't know, but I got this third pod and I'd like to you know, I don't know, fill it out. But I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's powered up. And again, this is the Glow Shift tinted 7 color gauges. Right now, it's just the color that's programmed in it, but I can change the color of the display. But we'll switch the car on, and you see they jump on. And it's probably flashing from the resolution on the camera, but it's all good. So the gauges are powered. This gauge here is the oil pressure gauge, and the gauge on the bottom is my water temp gauge. So now that I have all of that ran and powered up, I'll go ahead and make the loom. So I'm going to jump into a time lapse. You know I love my time lapse videos. We're going to jump into a time lapse video and let's get some work done today. What's up, Rockstars? So I'm back like I never left. And so we got the Camaro pretty much wrapped up for where it's going to be until the next episode. Like I said, if all things go in the direction that we want it to, hopefully the next episode, we can put some combustion in the cylinders and pop this thing off. So spark plug wires are ran. They're all connected on the distributor, nice and firm connections on the distributor. They are ran to their various locations in their firing order. Same for this side. We got the loom and all the wire ran here. I'm probably gonna come back and just zip tie all this together where I have it branched off in separate areas, so it just kind of looks more uniform, like one solid piece. Again, the fuel pressure regulator is mounted, ready to go. We do have power to the MSD. So we are pretty much back to where we need to be in order to get this bad girl fired up. So that's gonna do it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the content, and make sure you share it on all of your social media. I'm Small Block P-Rock, and this is P-Rock's Garage. And guys, always remember, I'm ready to rock if you're ready to roll. We'll see you in the next
P-Rock's Garage. No, we don't fake, we don't fudge.